Okay, is this working? I have no way of knowing whether this is working. It's kind of terrifying. That I don't know whether or not it's working. Software connected. I... Trying to tell if this is working. I will. Am I live? Oh, okay. So that seems to be working. If I look at this, can I tell whether or not? All right. Well, I'm risking it. All right. Well, I'm risking it. Okay, this seems to be functioning. Now everybody who watches this in the future will know that I'm a dweeb. Anyway, all right. Hello, no one. If there's someone, I will. Oh, chat rate of 1. How do I see? How do I see the chat? I I have some thoughts here. It would be nice to be able to only do one window, but to make that a double window. Okay, I see chat frequency of 1, chat rate. Okay, so that doesn't actually mean that there has been a chat. That's good to know. Okay, there is one concurrent viewer. Is that concurrent viewer me? I feel like that concurrent viewer is probably me. I have no idea what I am doing. All right, I'm assuming that the concurrent viewer is me. Live chat? Holy shit. This is way harder than I thought it would be. Alright, well, I'm assuming that this is working. Can you not, pop this out somewhere and keep it in your screen? I'm sure there's a way to. I honestly just need to set up another monitor. Okay, there's one view. That's definitely... I don't think that's me. That might be me. In fact, I'd go so far as to say there's an extraordinary body of evidence that it's me. If it's not me, though, whoever you are, I hope you're enjoying watching me floundering. Okay. Alright. Well. Alright, I'm working under the assumption that this is functioning. I'm also going to check to see whether I have anything that's, potentially not something that we should be showing, but I think we're all good. I'm going to close Blender, though. Okay, so I don't know how long I'm going to be on, but I'm just trying to figure out a little bit of some camera tweaks that I want to make before I call the current set of camera work done. Mainly, so just for context, most things seem like they're doing okay. I have snapping working. This was sort of like paired with a lot of the some retools of our movement logic. So camera. I took some cues from Baldur's Gate as well as what's the other one? Um, Wrath of the Righteous. I really like the way that Wrath does camera. So basically, the camera follows you. Wasty kicks you out unless you go free cam. I added some kind of inertia to that by lerping its speed to create some kind of acceleration and deceleration so it floats a little bit more, feels a little more natural. We'll see if people like that. And then, interestingly enough, and I found this like it's interesting that I didn't notice this when I was actually playing through the game. Baldur's Gate 3 does not, I believe, have camera like screen edge panning, which is totally like past my notice. I assumed that it did, but it doesn't. But I like it. I like this in particular. I like it when people when like as a semantic you try to make sure that a particularly motivated player with a mouse can do almost as much as they can do with a keyboard. I think that that's a good practice. So I'm trying to stick to that. Something that so Baldur's Gate 3 snaps you back to the camera if you click on your portrait or when you hold to move. So when I added the hold to move functionality, I did that. So this feels pretty good to me. I think all in all, this looks pretty good. Feels pretty natural. I'm not trying to spend too much time on it. I'm also trying to troubleshoot some depth issues we have. So if you see some weird graininess and stuff, also I can walk through walls right now, but it's neither here nor there. Yeah, trying to figure out why that's happening. So just ignore that. Anyway, yeah, so that's working. What I'm trying to do right now is basically have some uh nice little diminishing returns when you start approaching one of the edges of the map. So rather than it hard bumping, kind of slow down a little bit before you get there. So I have something that I did. So the problem was that the last time I was working on this, our map was actually backwards, and that's because Blender exports in a way that actually Blender has different axes than Unity, and if you export incorrectly, requires some fiddling. So now that we've got the map set up as we expect, I'm kind of trying to mess with oh yeah, why was that stopping me from doing what I was trying to do? Basically because the bounding boxes for the map were weird with the map backwards, and we didn't really know that the map was backwards until then. But once I started messing with the bounding box, it made me realize that the map should actually be oriented this way, with its base at the 0 vector. So now that that is a thing, this camera controller script is a little bit less wonky. It's still pretty bad, but less so than it was. And it means that now I'm a little bit more confident in my ability to do this bit. So what I'm doing is whenever we pan, because it should only matter when we're panning. The nice thing is with the follow script, that's not Unity. This is Unity. The nice thing is with the follow script, because it's kind of doing a lerping float anyway, we kind of already get that effect. Not really, but I'm not super concerned about it. So I guess it's fair to say that we could put this in the clamp, but well, okay, I have mixed feelings about that. All right, let me think about that. So, list of things that we're doing. We have a camera controller script that has a big list of functionalities. Like our camera's orthographic, so it moves in basically along a plane at a 45-degree angle to the map. It has to do this so that there's depth when the player moves away from it, basically. Otherwise, depth wouldn't be a thing because orthographic cameras only have depth along the z-axis. So, yeah, the thing that I'm trying to figure out is where I want to put. So, our maps, exist along some certain bounds. We don't want to let players scroll infinitely in one direction or another. So there has to be a point where the player gets stopped from scrolling. That's Ian. We're using him as our placeholder character portrait. And currently that just acts as a hard stop via a utility function that I have inside of the camera controller, just called clamp position. That uses the map's length and width to clamp the position of the camera based on its size and the map size, which is fine. I guess the problem with doing it here is that this doesn't account for directionality of motion. Meaning, like, and I think actually this was the problem that I had when I tried to implement it. Am I in play mode? Okay, let me exit play mode. So the problem that I had when first trying to do this, see if I can, I actually don't know if it will still work, but we shall see. Oh. Okay, this is actually going to need to be Y now, I believe. One more reason why the way I was doing things was dumb. Come to think of it, there's probably some shaders I'm going to have to update as well. Deceleration factor Z. Okay. All right, there we go. This should work, I believe. So basically, we are checking whether the distance from either the vertical bounds or the horizontal bounds is within the threshold that we've set for to start decelerating. And if it is, we start clamping based on our deceleration factor. So we start lerping the intended position that we were setting. And yes, I know I should probably capture this position up here. I'll do that later. The position that we would be setting, and instead sort of decreasing that based on a deceleration factor that can be set and is serialized. The problem, such as it currently exists, is that yeah, you can see it there. I won't be able to quite see it up there because you can scroll all the way off the map. But well, go over here. Huh. Maybe it just doesn't work at all. Anyway, we only want to decelerate you when you're moving towards the edge, not when you're moving away from it. That's the gist of it. So if you start moving in this direction, what we'd expect is as you move like this, you'd start getting diminishing returns as you move this way, but it shouldn't have an equivalent set of diminishing returns when you instead move out of that. We're kind of doing a soft encouragement, let's say, to the player to stop moving this direction. So I'm trying to think of how to handle that. Let's take a look here. So I guess first and foremost, let's get the local position here. And that'll get this to stop yelling at me. Also, bars are probably fine. Okay. So, what do we want to do here? I guess really we have our new position. All we really do need to do is to add more. So I guess what this would be is, how can I do this without having to write a bunch of code? I guess would be the real question. Because what we would want to do is in this block, check to see, are we within these bounds? And also, are we moving in that direction? But that could be any direction. That could be up, down, left, or right. So really what we're saying, what we want to be able to answer is, are we in left bounds and moving left? Are we in right bounds moving right? Are we in upper bounds moving up? Are we in lower bounds moving down? How can we do that in a way that doesn't suck? Also, neither here nor there, but I feel like the actual dithering effect should be, not dithering, the lerping should be asymptotic. So I should probably look into making that happen. So do like a, yeah, I will look into that. But first and foremost, why is this not working? This feels like it should be working. Oh, Z. I'm stupid. Oh, that should have been really messing with stuff, so I don't know why that was happening. Okay. We have no viewers now. I'm pretty sure that that means that the viewer was me, but that's okay. Because I love me. Okay, yeah. So here's the problem. The problem is now happening. The issue was that I had not fixed that one little guy. But as I get down here, that happens. We start to see a little bit of that. Also, for some reason, it doesn't work on the X axis. And I'm wondering why that is. Yeah, problem for another day. But well, maybe it does. No, it does, I think. Or maybe it doesn't. No, it definitely doesn't. Because if I go down here, you can see it gets slower. And then it's slow to escape as well. So we want to get rid of that behavior. And question is how? But we also want to figure out why that... I kind of want to start with that. Also might just be an arbitrary bias on my part. But that feels correct. Did I? Oh, I might have. Hang on. Did I make it separate? Map bounds threshold? No. Distance from bounds x is the new x position minus did I not update this? Map width divided by 2? I think I didn't update this. Distance would be the new position. So unlike y, so y goes from 0 to map length. And arguably this is bad now that I'm thinking about it. I am kind of wondering. This is a really good point. It might be worth. So, okay, what I'm thinking about now is that right now the tiling exists at well, the goal is to have a pivot at 0, 0. But right now the way that works is that y gets kind of shoved out, but x is centered, and I'm kind of realizing that that doesn't make a huge amount of sense. So maybe the move is to... I think it would be 64, 64. Does that just work, by the way? Like, that actually may just work. I'm not sure if there's anything else that cares. Now that I'm coming to think of it. I'll have to move these guys. But outside of that, I'm not sure if anyone else really cares. Guess we'll find out. Oh, the script will care. The script will care, but this actually does kind of make a lot of our life significantly easier. So I might, yeah, I think I'm kind of convincing myself here. So what this would do is it would mean that we can, rather than needing to have separate logic for width, it would be like 0 plus orthosize x and map width minus orthosize x would be our bounds. I don't mind that. Then we just leave the camera at 0 so that I can get schlepped there on arrival. Yeah, that actually, it would mean a few things that are kind of nice. It means we wouldn't actually require a camera track, which is kind of cool. Okay. And what that should mean is minus width, new position, right? So this would be, got it. Okay, right. I'm taking the absolute value of, so that'd be the min, that'd be the max. Yeah, minus, well, this is not necessary. Messy code. Okay, I gotta read and remember what my own code does. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna be silent for a good sec. Because is this correct? I feel like it is. So we're taking the absolute value of the new position. Minus the negative map of? Why wouldn't we just... Because I'm stupid. So our new position is a certain number of rolled units for x. And we want to know what is AB? Oh, okay. So we want the minimum value. Okay, got it. No, I don't get it. Why did I think that this would work? Hmm. My brain is cooked. So you've got a new position based on your pan speed that we've calculated. Nice, that's fine. And so we're applying additional deceleration if we're within these bounds. So let's just look at x and try to think about whether or not this works. So when will this value be within x? Because so hang on a second, because how do we know whether it's within the map bounds threshold? We're not using the actual map bounds threshold. Okay, I'm 90% sure that this is wrong, so I'm gonna do it from scratch. I think it's entirely possible that I'll end up back here because sometimes do that to myself, but let's start with this. What did I do here? Okay. So we have the new position's X value. That position, logically, have we already clamped? No, we'll clamp later. And that is fine. Well, I guess in this case, if we're past that value, so the minimum value here is 0. If we're at 0, or it wouldn't be 0, it would be 0 plus half of the orthographic size. Do we have ortho size here? Nope. Might be worth just reading that initially. But no, because it can change. It can change. So we do have to read it here. Okay, I don't love that, but whatever. So let's see. So basically, this gives us the number in world units of the orthographic size. We are within this bound. Well, I guess that's a question. No, so I guess really it's a question of whether or not this applies to the left side of the camera or the center of the camera. Probably the left bound. Oh, that's a good question. Tell you what, that's a darn good question. Because yeah, right, that probably is a thing. We like the left bound should care about the left side of the camera, the left edge of the camera. The right bound should care about the right edge of the camera, top edge, bottom edge, you know. Why is this so hard? Also, like, okay, thank God no one can see this. I say this, and then in 5 years, someone's gonna go digging, I'm sure. Is there a really easy way to do this that I'm not seeing? It feels like there probably is. I'm also like wondering whether I'm thinking that you could do this with colliders, weirdly. But I'm also thinking that there's a reasonable chance that that would get messier than we need it to, and math is not hard. So, well, I say that math is hard, but math provides an equally easy way to do this, I think. So, we have our X position. Check if the new position is within. So, I guess we're trying to get the distance from the X bound, which is going to be the new position, which I guess we would want. So the real new position would be our effective left bound. And what we want to know is whether our new position minus ortho size X, right? Oh, no. I think actually we're good, right? If we've done this, then I think we're a-okay, right? So if new position.x is less than or equal to effective left bound, no. Oh yeah, okay. So no. So this is invalid. So we're gonna call this distance from left bound x minus effective left bound. Yeah? So, this kind of feels like it should be its own function now that I'm thinking about it. Can we make this its own function? Because in the end, all that we really care about is... Yeah, so let's do that. New position is just a vector 3, right? So if we do private vector 3, what do we want to Schwarp into it? Feels like all of this, right? Is there anything else that's... We will need the x and y axis values. Do we want to pass those as arguments? That's like... It's a very specialized function. Maybe it's fine, honestly. If we're only going to use this logic once, maybe it's fine for it to live here. So we have distance from left bound. Let's create an effective right bound, which is the map width minus the ortho size. Top bound, bottom bound. Yeah, okay, I'm really glad that I did this the way that I did this. Okay. Cool. And then I'm kind of wondering, I mean, do we care about the distance? I guess we do, because we're going to need that no matter what. So if we can calculate it with this, we'll avoid needing to have arbitrary bools, because we can just evaluate whether this is below a certain quantity. So what would this be? So as you go left, this is, by the way, anyone who watches this for posterity, you're finding out exactly why I suck at geometry. So judge not, lest you be judged. Nobody is good at talking through geometry except for mathematicians. So if we're within the map bounds, I guess we lerp with the deceleration factor. So I think what we would... shit, is there any way of doing this other than like a 4 consecutive if conditions? I don't think that there is. So if distance from left bound is what, less map bounds threshold. And thing here that's a little bit tricky is if near the apply deceleration if near the map bounds and moving in the direction of the given bound. So and current spin, yeah, right. I think that's how it works. Okay, Copilot, what are you doing here? Copilot's big braining a little bit too hard for me right now. I think this is right. Distance from left bound divided by the map bounds threshold. Map bounds threshold is... So I guess this is where we would make it quadratic. Okay. I don't hate it. Okay, so this would be linear, but it should give us a linear drop off if we are moving up or down. Also, wait a minute. Is that how... Hang on. That's interesting. Oh, it's not 0. Right. Okay. It's stupid that I didn't know that. Okay, cool. So this actually feels intuitively like it should work. So basically what we're doing is we're calculating the effective bounds, the distances from those effective bounds, based on the threshold that we've set. So we've got the effective bound where camera would be bumping against it. Okay. Sure. Okay. So I guess this should be testable, right? OBS says my stream quality is excellent, by the way. So you're welcome. Okay. So, I think probably, okay, this is definitely something that I need to, the thing I'm doing after finishing these camera scripts is going to be to create a scriptable object for the resources directory that holds a lot of this map information per map, but I will do that another day. I am not so tired. I was going to do it today. Instead, I napped. Okay. Acceleration. Map balance threshold. 30. Okay. I mean, this map isn't that much bigger than that, so I feel like we kind of... That's probably an okay factor. Okay. Something is not working. Hang on a second. All right. I mean, it's not working. It might be a little stronger than I want it to be. Also, hang on a second. Something is fucky about these bounds. So, hold up. um, I also don't think that it's working vertically, which is neither here nor there. But yeah, we need to... What am I doing that's wrong? I guess we should be able to get rid of this by just setting the threshold to 0, I think. Oh, no, 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 no. Very interesting. Right, right. So the 0 to n behavior is actually a problem. So starting at the 0 bound of the map means that if we do have this, then we need to remember that we are at the 0th bound of the map, don't we? So that actually, oof, okay. I really liked this. I don't know if I like it now. Well, okay. So I think realistically it's more that, yeah, okay. So I mean, what I had done is like, let's put this to like 124 by 124, which is what this map's actual size should be. So as long as it's this, we should be good. And I think really the move should be more in the vein of like, we, rather than doing this by artificially increasing that value. Huh, wait a minute. This is still wrong. Oh, maybe. No. That's fine, but that's not. It's fine. It's not. What I do. Track should be fine. We're at 0, 0. No, we are at 0, 0, but no, that looks right. And then I think kind of surmise. Yeah, no, that should be fine, I think. So the question is, why is that bounding incorrect? I think it should be correct. So width is 124, and the length should be 124 because we're looking at it. We're looking at the render orthogonally, which should be 5 by 5. Okay, what's going on there? In ortho size, max ortho size. I don't think that would affect it. Smooth speed is 3. That looks fine to me. Sus. Oh. Okay. It's the case because... What is this exactly? Okay, that's interesting. What exactly is this object? So, theoretically, that is interesting. So, oh, no, no, right. Oh, fuck. Well, okay, that's not the worst thing. The issue is that this map is not at 0. The tiles are not at 0, that is to say. Although, shouldn't they be? 62. Oh, yeah. No, no, no. This is... Oh, thank God. Okay. I'm just bad at math. Speaking of environment, 62. Lol. All right. Nobody saw that. This is well, you know what? This I'll tell you what. This is why it needs to be automated because I'm bad at math. So now you've seen why this automation is important because otherwise the level to which I am bad at math will become a problem and the camera won't work. So there's that. Fuck. Oh my god, I literally failed at dividing by 2 in front of 0 people, but long term maybe more. So we'll see. All right. Well, that's still fine. We have some the depth issue is weird. I'm looking into that. I'll talk about that next time. But TLDR, there's some foot flickering that we're getting that makes me think that the 0 level of this floor in Blender, its transform is not 0, or rather which should be fine, but maybe it's that the pivot that we're importing, or the pivot of the import when set to 0, doesn't preserve whatever offset it has. I have no idea, to be honest with you, but the behavior is odd. We're seeing some kind of strange behaviors so this makes sense. And basically, it's more dramatic inside of the house because as you can kind of see if you look really up close, the house is actually just off the ground. We did not work very hard on this scene. Mostly, it just exists to be a diagnostic. But because we're seeing more of this kind of graininess uh, inside of the house, we're thinking that pretty much has to mean that this is just some kind of Blender issue. But if it's not, it could be based on, yeah, because it happens. The weirdest part is that it happens in some regions more than others, which is very strange. And that kind of makes me wonder whether this has to do with the encoding of the image. Because I believe right now it is still being imported as a PNG, albeit a very high resolution PNG, and that affects how many channels it can encode. So I'm wondering whether that means that we have a limited number of shades of gray to use for depth. Anyway, sorry, this is why I go slow because I get distracted. Okay, so that figured that out. I think probably what we should do is add another property. There's so many properties on the script. But pan deceleration, bounds deceleration factor, probably right here as well. Also, I need to remember, I know how to do this in Unreal. I know that there's a way to create categories for these. At this point, the script has enough parameters that I probably should be adding categories, but whatever. So public float, and we'll call this like, oh, it wouldn't be, so actually, no, this is for panning. So, oh God, where do we go? Oh my God. All right. So down here, we'll call this, actually, width and length is probably where we'll call this, padding, maybe, map padding. By default, go with like 10. And then what I think I'll probably do is create a private float with and then yeah, I guess what's the best way to do this? Because it's going to be used in a few places. So basically, like, I'm realizing that it's probably worth, yeah. So 0 plus ortho size. So that's one place where it gets clamped. I thought that it happened somewhere else as well, but maybe it's just there. So there's clamp position. well, I guess it's going to have a 0 plus. Okay. So I guess if we create a... I'll just make this here. So public struct bounds, and we'll just create a that's how you do it. I think this is how it works, is you make it a getter, and if you make it a getter, then it'll automatically update. Yeah, okay. Named that. Okay. Cool. So I believe that this should do it. Top is map length. No. I guess, okay. For being real, the web dev in me is telling me that this should actually be called... No, wait a minute. No, yeah. Map. We'll call this map margin. Sure. I think this is correctly dinging me on what the terminology actually would be. So left minus map margin, plus map margin, plus map margin, minus map margin. And this, I believe, should mean that in the places where we're currently doing this math, we can just map bounds dot bottom. Yeah, that's a lot better. Bounds dot top. This massages my tiny brain. But I believe... did I already have... Yeah, okay. Bar size y size x plus okay. I think this does it. And likewise, I guess we don't really need this anymore, do we? So if we have these... Right. Why it keeps trying to do this? Okay. I guess we don't these, do we? Okay. Yeah. It's not bad. And clamping. This is going to need to get optimized because it's bad. I think what I'll probably do is have an interactive object manager that has references to all the interactive objects. There's not going to be that many in a scene, and that'll stop us from having to do all of these hit transform things, hopefully. Okay. What's going on here? So let's see if that works. No, it doesn't seem to. Well, okay. What did I do wrong? Okay. Interesting. Have I bounded myself off of the map? Is that a thing that I've done? Maybe? That doesn't seem to be the problem. We are here on the edge. It's just kind of this question. Okay, hang on. Maybe I'm like bounding left somewhere. That's something that I would do. That is 100% something that I would do. So, where are we? Where are we doing this? Clamp position. Left. Yep. Hey, you know what? It's impressive that I knew enough about how dumb I am to know what mistake I had made immediately. Okay. Give me some credit where it's due. You know what I mean? All right. So, okay. Ooh, shiny. And if I go into here and I change the map margin to 0, it snaps me back to here. And oh, baby. Okay. I mean, come on. It's nice when things work sometimes. Okay. Back to what I was doing. So I think, yeah, let's do 20. I don't care if it looks good. I just kind of want to have enough space to play in. Okay. And then the same deal. Okay, so I think if we go back to this, it'll now behave a little bit better. So, oh God, how do I create a curve? Am I just gonna Google the Unity quadratic curve? This might be a question for an AI. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sure Claude has like a reasonable answer to this. Bounds deceleration factor. I mean, the first thing is, yeah. Yeah. This isn't bad. This could be worse. It's a pretty long file, but I'm getting used to the idea that that's more common in gaming than it is in web dev. I guess, yeah, we don't need these anymore, do we? It's kind of snazzy. Yeah, I gotta remember to do more of these things. Actually, yeah, I'm doing a few of them. I guess this there because they have getters. Panhandle zoom. Okay. So what am I missing? What am I missing? Um, I mean, I think this should work. So if I go to like bounds threshold. Let's do like 30. Yeah, let's do 60. Right, like let's. Oh, okay. Hang on. No, that should be fine. We'll at least try this out because the goal is to have it be a gradient, right? And that's interesting because I guess the longer the yeah, see, I don't mind that. I just need it to be way less aggro. I mean, I guess we could just bring the deceleration factor to like a 2 or something so that it's not as like vicious. Oh, no. We're multiplying it by that factor, aren't we? So I guess it would be... Ugh, okay, I should change the way that that works, because that's not... That is very unintuitive. Yeah, I guess the linear drop-off is... I've seen worse things. Also, why is this not working? Wait a minute. It is working in the other areas. It's just not working linearly. So I guess what we would do is maybe increase our margin by like to like 40 maybe. And then what basically happened is as you kind of get over to here, so it starts to get a little bit angry at you. So the horizontal ones seem okay. Something about... Okay. Oh no. Oh dear. I probably shouldn't be showing this. Well, I was gonna watch it. Windows 11, dude. I'm telling you. There we go. It does probably mean I'm gonna unpin this from my taskbar because this keeps happening. Okay. So current pan speed X, current pan speed Y. This looks fine to me, so I'm trying to understand what exactly we're doing that's incorrect here. I was wondering if the issue was that it was a local position problem, but no, the new position is the local position, so it's not like we're doing something global. Does that work? Hang on a second. Distance from bottom bound. No, I guess that would work. Let's try this. Let's at least see if it's properly. Oh, actually, that's really interesting. Oh, I bet that's the problem. Come to think of it. Oh, that's 100% the problem. So it's left, right, and I bet we're always doing left or right. So we don't really want else if. We want if across the board, don't we? Yeah. Right. Duh. Okay. Well, if that actually ends up being what the issue is, that's not a bad solution. Yeah, okay. Cool. So what we really want is to tweak this value because this is way too high, so let's do like 0.9. Just enough to make it a little bit less bumpy when you get to these edges. Yeah. So I think, honestly, even like 0.5, and then decrease the threshold like maybe. So I think now the gradient is okay. It's just smooth. Okay. Yeah, I fucks with this. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I don't hate this. I mean, it would be nice if it was quadratic. What's happening here? It's weird. Huh. What caused that? Hmm. Well, I'm at least happy with this map behavior, so I'm going to send that, if nothing else. But yeah, I think then I'm going to investigate what's going on here. Oh yeah, I forgot I did all this stuff. Well, whatever. Um, okay. So I guess one question that I have is, does it still happen if I start the game up from scratch? It doesn't seem to. Well, maybe sometimes. I mean, it's pretty good. Mm. Hmm? Okay, I'm having a hard time reproducing. No, that was it. Is the thread getting too busy or something? Nope, that's it. Okay. So what's going on there? Click to move. Interactive object. Something's iffy, right? And I'm just trying to understand where. So it's this like, so if we get to like here or something? That is so interesting. Okay, because and that was like very discreet. Um, huh. What's happening here? I don't think it's thread work or anything, because it's very consistent if I just do it in the right place. I bet it's something silly. I just need to think about what it could be. Oh. a minute. Is that it? Did I introduce this bug, and what is the bug? So it's not that there's no clickable object found. What could it be? Yeah, we're not even hitting something, are we? Okay, so we're not even getting to there. Um, is this because of the... That is so interesting. Wait, hang on. I bet that's what it is. And that's awful, and probably just not something that I had dealt with before. Yep. Okay. That's the answer. Okay, cool. That's fine. I don't necessarily mind that. That's um something is set up in a way that it probably shouldn't be, and I will fix that. But um, I'm not super worried about that for now. Okay, well, in that case, everything is working as well, more or less. I'll leave that there. Okay, I think that might be it for tonight, considering no one has watched at any point during this stream. So I think I may stop talking to myself for now. Tomorrow I will probably stream again. I think what I'm kind of trying to work on is gonna be now that I have a map, like a map structure that I mostly like, and I'd say moderately confident that these depth issues are related to Blender, not Unity. I think I'm gonna try to do a full send on these level structures and start trying to find ways to kind of productionalize the creation of them. So more on that tomorrow. Farewell. No one.